Hi, I am Asian action actor, and this is my very first official movie review. So I'd like to preface this by saying that I love movies. I've been watching a new movie literally every week for at least maybe the past 2 decades. At least the past 2 decades, I would go to the movies, use my own money, watch a new movie every week, and enjoy the hell out of it. I love movies. I love movies so much that I literally made it my job. So I am literally an actor, yeah, and movies were a huge deal to me growing up and until now. So yeah, I love movies. So my very first movie review is going to be Aladdin. It's Disney's live action remake of Aladdin. Okay. I would like to say that I'm a huge fan of the original 1992 animated classic Aladdin, right? It's one of my absolute favorites. I would say that my favorite animated Disney movie of all time would be Little Mermaid. Aladdin is probably my number two, primarily because I love Robin Williams' Genie. I love the songs in that movie. I just love the pacing of that movie. It just feels like a really fun movie to watch over and over, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I love that movie. So what did I think of this one? This live action remake of a classic movie that I really love. I didn't hate it. I can compare it to a very similar live action movie that came out recently, which was Beauty and the Beast. I think that came out like 2016 or 17, whichever. Now the problem with these movies is that a lot of people criticize that they don't change enough. They're literally beat by beat the exact same movie as the classic cartoon. And while that is true for the vast majority of the part, there are some differences. Now, I didn't like the live action remake of Beauty and the Beast very much. Like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. One of the things I disliked about it was I didn't like Gaston in that one. Gaston was like one of my favorite things from the original Beauty and the Beast. I just found the new version of Gaston to be very unappealing. So the point of that is a lot of things don't translate very well from animation to live action. Now, Disney, I feel, learned a lot from their experience in making the Beauty and the Beast live action remake. And it shows here in Aladdin because it looks like they're putting in a more concerted effort to do more of what works in live action versus just beat for beat translating everything from live action to animation. And a lot of other reviews say this, is that they don't change enough. They don't address this enough. So most of the time, Aladdin still winds up as this inferior live action version of the classic cartoon. So first of all, there are the changes to the Genie and Jasmine are the most obvious ones. Actually, most of the characters are very different except Aladdin himself. Aladdin himself is extremely similar to his cartoon counterpart, okay? But the rest of them are very unique, right? More so than, the characters from the Beauty and the Beast cartoon to the Beauty and the Beast live action remake. But the ones with the most differences here would be the Genie and Jasmine. Jasmine primarily. So I want to tackle the Genie first because he was my favorite thing about the original Aladdin. I loved Robin Williams' take on the original Genie. And I was very pleasantly surprised to find out that Will Smith is an amazing Genie. He, as much as possible, he does not copy Robbie Williams. Robbie Williams. That's a different person. Robin Williams at all. I mean, in certain songs, especially in Prince Ali, he tries to do certain things that Robin Williams did before in his voiceover. But for the most part, Will Smith really makes the Genie his own character. And he says, at least in one interview, that he used his classic Fresh Prince persona for the Genie. And I think it works extremely well. It works extremely well. Will Smith is funny in this one, and he is just hilarious. For me, he saves the whole movie. if they got a different actor and the actor didn't own the character as much as Will Smith did, the movie would be just horrible for me. Okay. Now, aside from that, they added a bunch of stuff to the Genie story, which I liked. I like that because in the original Aladdin, genies when Aladdin frees the genie at the end, the genie still is a genie. He is just not bound to the lamp. He's just free, but is still a genie. In this version, he becomes human when he is freed, and that is why he has love interests. I like that actually. It humanizes the genie, makes him more relatable, and makes him a more likable character, in my opinion. Okay, I've seen a lot of flack for this, like, oh, I hate the movie because the genie has a love interest and all of that. I actually disagree. I actually also really like the smart way that they use this plot device at the very start of the movie. When they show Will Smith as this older fisherman sort of character. He owns a boat and his family's on his boat. And he's the guy that tells the story of Aladdin, the storyteller character, which in the original cartoon was this merchant character, who was also, interestingly enough, voiced by Robin Williams. So they replaced that character with Will Smith's character, who we eventually find out was the genie that eventually became human because of Aladdin's wish. And I thought that whole thing was amazing. Dahlia, his love interest, was all right. I mean, she was there mostly as a sidekick for Jasmine. The jokes and funny moments that she was in were mostly genuinely funny, in my opinion. So that works. Another thing about the genie is Will Smith's chemistry with Mena Masoud. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Is amazing, especially in that my favorite scene was when they were in the throne room, right? They were in the throne room, and Prince Ali was going to introduce himself to the Sultan and Jasmine at the same time, for the first time, you know. And he absolutely did not know how to act like a prince because he's just, you know, simple thief from the streets. So he messes that thing up, and Genie tries to save him, and it's just hilarious, amazing. And the party scene, pretty much right after that scene, also showcased a lot of really amazing chemistry between those two. So that was good. Jasmine, holy cow, Pink Ranger from the, what is this, 2016, 2017 Power Rangers movie reboot is freaking Princess Jasmine. And when I saw her for the first time in the trailers, I was like, whoa, the Pink Ranger is Jasmine? That's weird. But she does a really good job in this one. She does a really good job in this one. She dances really well in the few scenes that she does have a dance routine, and she sings incredibly well. Like, wow, I did not know the Pink Ranger had like pipes like that. And I really like her new story in this one. I like that she is a capable person who is actually fit to become the Sultan. Because if you modernize like the Aladdin story, it doesn't make sense that Aladdin is a Sultan because he's great and all, but he did grow up in the streets and things like that. So he has absolutely no qualifications to lead like a country. But Jasmine in this one is established as someone who has been training her whole life to take up this mantle, to lead in place of her dad. And she's more than qualified. And it just makes sense. And the only reason why this was an issue was because she's a woman and therefore automatically unworthy. So that whole thing was pretty good. I like her new song, Speechless. It's not nearly as good as the classic songs, but it's a good song by itself. It's worthy enough to be included here. The Beauty and the Beast song, the new Beauty and the Beast song, is all right, but it's kind of forgettable in my opinion. So we go to the other two characters. I like that the Sultan is an actual character. He's an actual person this time around, not just a joke, because he was literally just a joke character in the original cartoon. The Captain of the Guard is an actual character this time. That was okay. He ties in a lot with Jasmine's story. He was there mostly as more of a device for Jasmine's character development. I felt that was all right. I have to really chime in that new Jafar doesn't work very well. The actor seems to be really like a really good actor. I do not know the actor's name. I do not recall his name at this time. I apologize for that. But he's not menacing. Like Jafar was an amazing villain in the classic Aladdin movie. You know, he's like he had this great voice and he was really evil and all that, and he had really good chemistry with Iago and stuff. And they try to humanize him here, and it just sort of fails and falls flat. So that was one of the things that really lets the movie down. One Jump is one of my favorite songs. One Jump Ahead, I mean, one of my favorite Aladdin songs, and it's horrible in this version. It's just terrible. The parkour and stuff that they do in that sequence is amazing. It's great stunt work, but I don't know. They just ruined the song. It's just terrible to me. Arabian Nights, the opening song. All right, Will Smith is great, and he definitely sings better than me, but he's not a great singer overall. Like, oh man, like he sounds just like a normal dude singing well, which is about as good as I can probably sing with some practice. And that's just disappointing for like a big Disney musical like this. That's oof. He is amazing overall, but his singing voice just falls short. And that is the same thing I can say about Prince Ali, which he sings. It doesn't sound terrible, but again, he doesn't sound great either. So the Pink Ranger and Mena Masoud, they sing their own songs. They sound amazing. They sound freaking great. Will Smith, not so much. He is like average. Friend Like Me works really well, as it's not so much him singing. It's like one of his older 90s raps that he does. And he does it really well. Friend Like Me, he makes it his own song. And it is extremely well done in the Will Smith sort of way. Right? Other songs. I already mentioned Speechless. I liked it. Not as much as the older songs, but I like it. Yeah, I think that covers at least most of the songs. The thing that I didn't expect going in were the amazing dance numbers here. Mena Masood does most of the amazing dance work, and some of the moves he does is probably doubled. But the majority of him dancing is really him because you can actually see his face, and that's great. The dance numbers were amazing, very entertaining. But yeah, everything actually just falls short, you know. It's okay, in my opinion. All of that just amounts to me feeling that everything was just okay. It's not a terrible movie, but it's not very good when compared to the original classic. Like I tweeted right after the movie, like they don't call these things classics for no reason, you know. And this one kind of falls short. It really just feels, even though I really loved Will Smith's Genie, I loved a lot of the stuff. I like Minimus. I like the entire cast except Jafar. I think the Jafar actor is really good. He just does not fit Jafar, in my opinion. There are some really good things. There are some terrible things. One Jump Ahead is just horrible. And here's the kicker. The majority of the movie, the rest of the stuff that I did not mention was average, extremely expensively average. And yeah, that's why I think it's just okay. It has some very specific lows, some very specific highs, and the vast majority of it just somewhere in the middle. I enjoyed it. I saw it. I do not regret watching it. But Disney has yet to make one of these live action remakes that really knocks it out of the park and makes it at least up to par with the originals, which is all what we all want, right? We're rooting for these things so that we can have a new classic in our hands, even though it's way more familiar than we probably want. And I hope Lion King is the thing that does it, because Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast, Dumbo, I like Jungle Book, but I feel exactly the same way about it as Aladdin, and like it's just okay, you know. So I'm hoping Lion King is the thing that does it for me. And yeah, so this was my very first movie review. I'm sure it was not very good. Again, I love movies, and I would do a movie review like this literally for every movie I see, which is literally one a week, you know. So I'm hoping to do more of these, and yeah, thank you very much for joining me in. Leave some comments for me in down below. And I'll see you again next time. See you guys. Have a good one.